Welcome back, everyone, to Italy. And well, sort of voting results are in as of May, and I think we'll be going through the kingdom. Not the Roman Empire, which is what I was expecting to win, but it seems like Kingdom won out by just a tiny bit. I will do that soon. There are some interesting things about the kingdom, and you get quite a lot of claims everywhere, so that's nice. And you can also attack France because, well, why the hell not? And you can get Albania, depending whether or not they accept your annexation. I wonder if that will do that. I don't think they will, but then if they don't, then you just take them over because it's Albania, and nobody cares. Okay, that was modern support weapons. Wait, what? Whatever. I do not know. Oh, right. I was this. Modern support weapons. Okay, makes a lot of sense, and you're gonna go for red dot site. Although that's leg infantry. Oh, hi 911. Well, now the United States can go with the global war on terror. Because they have suffered a major terrorist attack. They can get the Patriot Act and all these things, try to take over Iraq, etc. So we'll have to deal with the Islamic State. The Islamic State exists, obviously. I wonder if the Islamic State can exist in the 2000s start. Economic reforms, great. That was in this part of the tree. We could go for the bureaucratic ones, and then get the research organization, and then go for the political ones. Yes, that is what we'll do. Right now, we'll also use this time to get some extra stuff underway. For example, here in the mechanized brigade, we're actually lacking motorized. And something that I was thinking to do is get some of my things to... okay, hold on. Let's actually duplicate one, okay? I'll make this the motorized. And then the mechanized brigade will slowly switch on over to mechanized. Because mechanized is better. Mechanized is better, and because we also have more mechanized, interestingly. Now we're gonna have a bit of a sort of deficit, but soon enough it will even out, hopefully. We're also getting some artillery, but I think we should stop getting this much artillery, and we'll start to focus on other things. Anti-tank is particularly important, so we're gonna put that on top. With 2 factories assigned to it, because actually I noticed that the Army Special Forces Commando requires an anti-tank. So to get some of those, then we're gonna need anti-tank, and that's a good idea to get anti-tank because everyone's gonna have these mechanized and armored divisions, so having the piercing damage is going to be extremely handy. Not when you're facing, like, I don't know, well, it depends. Maybe Libya and Tunisia also have tons of armor at their disposal, so it might be very important to get that pretty much regardless. Let's get some more oil. Yeah, sure. Really now, that would expend all of my... No, I wouldn't expend all of my factories. But it would definitely decrease my construction speed, which is not good per se. And we're still going pretty much under on political power, which is not good. Right now we're also going to need to find a way to produce some kind of aircraft that can go on my carrier, which means that if we go to production and then aircraft, we need the attackers, which is interesting. I would have preferred multi-roles to go on carriers, but I guess I'm gonna have to deal with attackers. And then that was the research. Excellent. Can we go with the Generation 4 attack? No, we cannot. What's the air attack of these guys? Naval attack is 1, which is bad. Although it's better than the naval attack of the multi-roles. Not as much as the naval attack of the maritime patrol aircraft, though, obviously. And interestingly, the UAV also cannot go on aircraft carriers, although you'd think it would be able to. It unfortunately cannot. We could go for some extra decryption or maybe some industry. We do have a bonus towards industry, and plus 20% factory output is extremely useful. So modern industrial robots it is. We'll get those underway. In the meantime, we're just reorganizing our army, doing the restructuring and the likes. And we could also train on an Alpine Brigade, although I really dislike this Cavalry Brigade that they have. So I want to find a way to, well, I know how to change it, but we need to have enough army XP. Okay, so we're getting the bureaucracy reforms, which should hopefully mean that we get plus 0.0 free political power per day. And now we're going to get the Italian Research Organization, which is going to increase our research by 20%, as it will give us, well, actually, no, 25%, as it will give us that lovely bonus. And then the first mechanized brigade that just got recruited, we're going to get them trained up because we have a very, very small sort of unit base. And so they're going to have to be very veteran, very very veteran, very trained, that stuff. And then, as it may... Right, this is the democratic way. Support other Eurosceptic parties. That's hilarious. The populist way. Oh, the euro. On January the 1st, 2002, several great European currencies came to an end when, well, ours wasn't great, when they were all replaced by a common continental super currency, simply called the euro. The new European currency is already viewed as the second most important currency in the world, only beaten by the US dollar. Europe grows stronger. So plans for a common European currency have been around since the foundation of the European Union in 1992. The project comes to fruition 10 years later with the creation of the euro, guided by the European Central Bank in Frankfurt, Germany. Giving up national authority over currency might have downsides, but the economic benefits of trading with our neighbors and partners might just outweigh them. British, Danish, and Swedish delegations have already voiced concerns and demanded a possibility of an opt-out for their respective countries, which is why they refused to participate in the initial digital introduction of the euro in 1999. What should our policy be? Either excellent proposal, plus 10% factory output, which is excellent, but minus 10% flat, or not minus 10% flat, that's the exact opposite. Minus 0.10 flat political power deficit would be not good. We already have a minus 0.30 from mafia and corruption, and minus 0.50 from being a European Union member. So really, just from a purely sort of utilitarian standpoint, I think we would want an opt-out because, because eventually I would like to have some political power as well, you know? That would be very nice for me. Wonder how we're gonna get the corruption out of our system. I wonder if we will ever get the corruption out of our system. Doesn't really look like it. Maybe some of these. Oh, anti-mafia measures. But that requires me to go democratic. So, yeah. So it's not going to happen, essentially. Requires one of the following: European cooperation or new parties. And this requires on our own, which requires the democratic way, and this requires the democratic way as well. So, no, we are not. We are not removing the mafia anytime soon. Yep. So we need the political power. We'll just take the minus for now, taking the opt-out the Italian way. Still weird how we have a cavalry brigade. That's so strange. Illegal immigration crisis. There has been an increase in illegal immigration from Northern Africa in the last few years. While it offers us more workforce and therefore population in our country, which is suffering from a stagnant birth rate, it also worries a part of the population who think that we shouldn't save them from the seas, but instead we should send them back to their country of origin. We should choose our policy wisely. So we're going to get illegal immigration, which is plus 3% monthly population, 2% consumer goods factories, and minus 2% national unity. So far, that sits well with us because we would like more population growth. So a little bit of extra population growth doesn't hurt. I wonder if we could do anything to increase or decrease our population growth and etc. I really wonder. Diplomatic focus. This is really not anywhere there. Wait, what? Oh, this is right. Oh, major social liberal rally. Inaction is death. The only way leads forward. Our social liberals today have rallied in one of our urban centers. They demand government action on behalf of the lower classes and general progress towards freedom and liberty for all. Change the popularity of social liberals, who are the Italian Popular Party. Red dot site. Hold on. Land night attack plus 5%. Yeah, excellent. Want that. And we still need more oil. Yeah. So who do we have the highest influence with? France. Hold on. New administration laws. One of the leading Forza Italia lawmakers has recently proposed that some thorough reforms on the basis of our law codes affecting our local administrations and law enforcers would increase the trust of the people in our government. This will increase stability by 5. Wow, that's amazing. Let's do that. Salt Lake City Olympics. That is absolutely great. It's probably going to bring us over. Oh, that's like 5%. Probably going to bring us on over the 60 stability thing to get, instead of average, good stability. I don't know. Hopefully. And then we're going to go ideology focus. Research slot is now available. And it's going to go towards, I think, infantry defense. But at the same time, I just remember that in this mod, you lack self-propelled artillery. And so one very important thing to do, really, is to go with motorized rocket artillery. Because that's the only way you're going to have a artillery unit that can keep up with your mobile. And since there's a lot of mobile, then obviously we're going to have the MLRSs with us, and we're also proceeding in the building of our stuff. Stability change. Replace average stability with high stability. Yep, exactly. So that's going to give us some political power and some stuff in general. Of course, we lost a lot of political power actually doing that, so it's going to take quite a long time to gain that again. That's both things that we don't care. Dive bombing, great. Direct ground support, we're just going to go on through. And soon enough, we should also start researching some of the naval doctrines as well, obviously. We do have some of the landing techs, which is excellent. We could get destroyer free, but we were going for light cruisers. So light cruiser free, we can get that as well. So we will research that after modern industrial robots are finished, so that our escort ships are better. And then hopefully soon enough we'll also get some extra military factories. But unfortunately the problem is that military factories, well, we will get one from our national focus tree, but that's really not all that great. We'll see if other people are going to be kicking up. Oh, European cooperation. So they're going to invite people and do investments and such. Wow, civilian factory construction speed plus 25%, that's incredible. And then they get Polish workforce, which is going to be really good for their factory output. So in general, it looks like Germany can just do ridiculous industrial growth. Okay, modern industrial robots. We could go for modern heavy equipment, which is going to increase our resource gain efficiency, but for now that's not needed. So we're gonna go for the light cruiser freeze. We're gonna still build some of these civilian factories and then eventually switch on over to the military factories, because We're gonna need the military factories very quickly if we are to rearm quickly enough. We're still lacking in terms of some things. We do have a lot of support equipment, so I feel like we can reduce that to almost nothing. Which is nice, because I don't particularly care for wasting my... Wait, what? Why do we have another Bane Battle Tank line? Who gives? Ideology focus is complete, and now we can go for the old ways. Democracy brought corruption and a decline of power to Italy. We must move away from it if we wish to rise again. Yes, of course. Of course, we must rise again. Now we have 2 carriers ready, so our navy is shaping up to be quite useful. Except they don't have any planes to go on them, so eventually we're going to need to grab the planes as well. We also have a ton of close air supports over here, so that means that we do have an air force. I thought we wouldn't have an air force. So let's actually reorganize that while we have the time, because close air supports can go on the carriers, and obviously that's what we want to see, not having them on normal airfields. And they're, wow, actual, yeah, 60, that's fine. The actual, like, deck sizes of our carriers is quite good, so that's nice. Insufficient resources. Oh yeah, right, that's still the oil. So how are we gonna grab that? I think we're just gonna get it from Norway. We could have gotten it from France, but France is clearly exporting it to someone else. Yes, Finland. Although Finland has a trade influence of 324 over France, and we have a 416, so we would win out, but oh well. Mobile defense, we're gonna go on over. Yeah, line artillery, would that affect motorized rocket artillery? It would. And so having that plus 10% soft attack and then overwhelming fire tactic, those would both be quite useful. This would give us 25% to soft attack of support companies and plus 10 to the organization of support companies. And considering that the only way we have to use artillery pieces is support artillery, that's an extremely good idea, because we're going to have a lot of artillery that's going to go in supporting our various different brigades and divisions, which are soon going to become divisions. Not going to stay with brigades forever. It's basically just a peacetime stopgap move. Once we go to actual war, hopefully we'll have enough army experience to actually make divisions, because, well, divisions are just a little bit better. The more a unit can basically just stand in line and take punishment, the better. And yeah, we're coming for you soon, North Africa. Yeah, they still have all these wonderful fellas, Ben Ali, Gaddafi, and Mubarak. Who does Algeria have? They have the socialists. And they have a fairly hefty Islamist component as well, which is worrying. Okay, red laser sight. We could go for some more stuff here, but we're gonna go with the base strike, just to make sure that our carriers are very heavily organized and such. Then we're also gonna deploy the rest of our air force, which are just multi-roles and fighters. We have a lot of Generation 2s, which is very unfortunate. And the old ways is complete. Good. We could go with towards the monarchy, but we need to complete abandon the West. Right, okay. So that's going to be in the diplomatic focus. And that's going to make us leave NATO. Okay. We could also just develop... Yeah, we're going to finish the rest of the development while we have the chance. And then we're going to abandon the West eventually. Motorized rocket artillery, excellent. That's going to be our next priority of production. We could go for other things. Not yet, though. Will this affect motorized rocket artillery? Um, really? You're not gonna actually tell me what these mean? That's support rocket artillery, that's rocket artillery, and that's motorized rocket artillery. Okay, good, it will. So eventually we're gonna have to research these as well, because it's gonna help us quite a bit. We could go for some extra stuff. Really, I do not have any missile cruisers. Oh well. Carrier, that's quite a fair while away. Don't care for submarines yet. Aircraft, we still don't really care about all these. I'm gonna go with some more decryption, maybe? Or maybe modern heavy equipment. Yeah, it's gonna be important once we gain those oil fields. So, sooner we do that, the better. Yep, let's go to industry. Modern heavy equipment. Now, Austria's not in NATO, right? Nope, neither Austria nor Switzerland are in NATO. Which is interesting, because it makes them a potential target. Anti-tank and mechanized. That's what we're lacking, and that's what we're gonna try to gain. And now we have a couple of... Oh, right, we also have the motorized rocket artillery. But first, we are going to make sure that the anti-tank is being built. And then the motorized rocket artillery. We're getting the attackers and the multi-rolls off the line and into the field, which is exactly what we want. Oh, hold on. We want the limit for fighters to be 50, so we're gonna split these in two. Good. And we'll start to build up our air force as much as we can, because people are gonna have air forces. They are going to have air forces, and they're going to have huge ones. For example, as you can see, France already has a pretty ridiculous amount of planes. Oh, hi, the Euro. Wait, who got in the Euro? France, Spain, Portugal, not the UK. Oh, fuck you. Poland did not join the Euro. What's that? The Visegrad Group? Yes, it's the Visegrad Group. A little bit early, interestingly. Whatever. The Baltics did not. Whoa. That's a lot of Air Force stuff. Estonia. None of these guys did. Parliamentary crisis. Initially, the great parliamentary crisis our news outlets now talk about broke out over a minor loophole in a tax code that affected the budget in a pretty insignificant way. This has now grown into a tirade of insults from one side to the other, and has affected our national prestige and democratic legacy at home and abroad. The Supreme Court needs to intervene. We don't really have a Supreme Court, but yeah. Okay. Parliamentary crisis, minus 50% political power gain for 20 days. Our stability will increase by 1. We need to set up a communications committee. Minus 30 political power and parliamentary crisis. There is nothing we can do. Well, I think there is nothing we can do. I mean, we're gonna get the monarchists anyway, and the fascists. Stability decreased up by 1 is sad, but I guess we're just gonna take that. Our army is coming up nicely, and what is going on with deployment? We almost have a second armored brigade on the field, which is amazing. Third ground support, yay. Fighter Ace Initiative or Formation Flying. I like Formation Flying much more, because, well, as much as getting aces is fine, they're not quite as important as getting plus 15% air superiority focus. Develop the islands, excellent. I'm gonna do build up in the islands, which is great because it also gives us a naval dockyard. That gave us 2 civilian factories. Then we're gonna get the military build up in Sicily. We're gonna skip Sardinia for now, and we're gonna get the 1 military factory. And oh, armored brigade, great. Then we also have someone else. No, we don't. Fine. We have the World War II little tankette. Well, it's not really the tankette. It's the 13 Wait, that's the 1139 model of tank as a model. Interesting. I used to remember seeing models, at least for the Russian and NATO tanks, they were different. I wonder. I really wonder. I'm gonna find if there's actually a place where I can get those models, so that it at least looks better. Light cruiser freeze, good. And then from here on, don't really need any more light cruisers. We're gonna move on to getting some more engineering done. And in our production, looking at ships, I'm gonna get one more of these just so we don't lose any of our produced sort of equipment, and then we're gonna switch on to the freeze. Yeah, we're consuming a ton of resources with these, so it's pretty obvious that it's gonna be slow stuff. In fact, I'm gonna put 2 rows of dockyards, 10 dockyards to the carrier, because then once you are finished, then all these dockyards will go down to you, the light cruiser freeze, and not to the carrier again. And we have outdated equipment, right? The light cruiser 2s. And then we're gonna keep an eye out for our tanks. How are we on tanks? We are starting to produce them at a decent rate, which is fine. Then we need tons more mechanized and modern heavy equipment. Good. That's gonna improve our factory output by a crap load. Oh no, wait, no, that's heavy equipment. Okay, never mind then. That's gonna be useful later on. We can't get atomic research yet. We get the encryption algorithms. Unassigned divisions. Yes, do assign them. Build up in the islands is almost done, and now it is good. So we're gonna get the military factory, which is excellent because right now we are lacking those military factories. And then once that's done, we're gonna get the oil and then move on down. What is Russia doing? Oh, okay. I guess when we have that decryption, we're gonna have a way to see that. Oh, hi, Hu Jintao. Central military industry. So it looks like they're getting tons of military factories. Yep, look at that. 4 military factories for free. Not bad. Vietnam, they look to be pretty decent off. Japan, what is Japan doing? Develop Shikoku, so just economics. I think everyone is kind of programmed to go for economic focuses first. Worker strikes. Our workforce is disgruntled with working conditions and wages lately and have spontaneously gathered in the streets. Their mobilization is helped by the newly rising internet technologies. How should we proceed? Either the worker rates are important, which means that we're going to get the strikes for 90 days, which is not good. But our stability is going to increase and our political power is going to increase as well. These problems will fix themselves. This is going to be a slightly shorter strike, or force the people back into the factories, which is going to decrease stability, get a much quicker end to the strike. I guess we're gonna get a few points of stability in, just as an extra, as a side, because stability is important. How? Oh, only 1,800 in terms of construction points. And how much rubber are we consuming? Oh, 8. And we have a surplus of 1, so 2 rubber factories, or rubber refineries. Wait, hold on. Oh, plus 3. So 3 rubber refineries would mean that our stuff could function without having to resort to foreign trade, which would save up 3 civilian factories, actually. Or no, 1 civilian factory. Sorry, I'm retarded. Base strike, excellent. I get carrier primacy. And we also have some Navy experience. Interesting. What did we gain the Navy experience from? Seriously, what did we do to gain that? Build up in the islands? Develop the islands? No. Just got like random Navy XP. We're also drifting towards fascism. So, if we're not fast enough, we're gonna turn fascist. Drift towards authoritarianism. Yeah, but that's not gonna last forever, right? Our drift is going to last until 2003 June, so no, we're not gonna get enough to, get a coup, but we might get enough to have the fascists win the elections, which is hilarious. Encryption algorithms, all these are pretty well done. I'm gonna get the improved artillery. Still lacking a ton of mechanized. Not as much motorized though at this point. So we're gonna start to train the motorized. However, we're gonna have to have 5 XP just to switch it over to motorized. Military build-up in Sicily. No, not civilian build-up in Sardinia. We're gonna get those oil fields. Yes. Who needs Saudi Arabia or Venezuela? A true superpower is self-sufficient. We must begin extracting oil right here in the Mediterranean, and Sicilian waters might possess great reserves of oil. It's nice that they mention in the description that it is in the offshore sort of oil industry, because while in Italy there isn't really that much oil underground, there is a ton of offshore oil. Well, not a ton, but a decent amount of offshore oil, especially in these areas of the Adriatic. Also a bit down here, if I recall correctly, and especially quite a bit around Sicily and some around Sardinia as well, I believe. So the offshore oil industry, if one was to invest in it, I'm pretty sure you could find the oil, except it's kind of expensive. So, like, if you ever go to these kinds of areas, we call them the Riviera, which means like just the shore. It's a very popular tourist destination in the summer. If you go on vacation in this area, or even a little bit more south, just generally in the Adriatic, which I do almost every year because I live right here in Bologna. So it's very easy for me to get here. And so if you ever go to vacation, you will see just every once in a while, while you're walking along the shore, you just see in the distance a offshore sort of drilling platform or whatever. So the oil rigs are definitely there. It's just that it's not really that profitable, so there aren't that many of them. So it definitely makes sense for Italy to have that oil there.